Guitaristas is proudly supported by Gear for Music. Hello, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Guitaristas. So a couple of weeks ago, I made a film about this guitar. This is the Eastcoast GS61. And you may have seen it a couple of weeks ago. I splashed across the thumbnail, cease and desist, ? And the whole point of that was that I bought this guitar to review, and I bought it from Anderton's. This is, Eastcoast is the own in-house brand for Anderton's and Guitar in the UK. And I bought this guitar, paid 119 quid for it, and the idea was just to review it. But something odd then happened. Before I actually had a chance to do the review, I noticed that it disappeared from the listings. It was no longer on Guitar or Anderton's website. So I thought, well, that's interesting, because the point was it had disappeared completely. It wasn't even pre-order, next delivery or anything like that. It had gone. So this particular model, there was another model, the GS10, still available, which is the different style of SG, but this one, the 61 style, gone. So I made up some nonsense about the possibility of it disappearing for legal reasons, shall we say, that the thumbnail was cease and desist. Had Gibson threatened Eastcoast with legal shenanigans, because it was, well, I said it's too close to an actual Gibson SG, isn't it? An Epiphone SG. It's the same shape. A few people argued that fact with me, but I'm going to stick to my guns. It's pretty much the same shape as a Gibson. Let's try and prove that now. And we'll get a Gibson that I happen to have lying around, and we'll just do that. Okay. Right, there you go. See, the horns are to all intents and purposes, the horns are the same. They're not too different. So my stupid idea was I'll put cease and desist on the thumbnail. It suggests that Anderton's and Guitar have been threatened by Gibson. Lots of people will click on it, which actually did happen. We had lots of clicks, lots of people that shouldn't really be watching this channel, and lots of stupid comments. No, actually, to be fair, there were a lot of really interesting comments on this whole subject, the ethical, moral dilemma of people stealing, ideas, products to make money. So I wanted to do a follow-up. My first thought was, we'll go down that rabbit hole, and then I kind of realised that that's not really what I want to do here, and it's not what I do here, and it's not what I want to do here. I don't. Everyone's going to have their own opinion of whether or not. This is not a Gibson as such. It's not purporting to be anything other than an East Coast GS61, which is a very cheap, very good quality entry-level guitar. And it's not pretending to be anything else, but, well, is it? I don't know. It's a minefield. So look, here's the thing. Well, first off, we did actually get an answer to that question. Had they been cancelled? We got an answer pretty damn quickly. And I'll tell you what that is in a bit, okay? But before we do that, I wanted to follow that up, and share with you a little bit of my thought process on how we would follow that film up. Okay, what could I do to make a valid follow up of that film, without getting into the weeds, without getting into the whole ethics and stuff like that, but looking at, I suppose, some of the alternatives. Okay, And the first thing that involves, of course, is going shopping. Okay, so this is, I say, was my plan for a follow-up, although it is, by nature of the fact that you're now watching it, a follow-up. This isn't what was intended, but this is how my thought process evolved through how do we follow up the cease and desist film of this. I'm gonna share that with you now. The first thing we had to do, of course, was go shopping. So my first port of call was guitar, because although the GS61 wasn't still available, this was. I'm going to persist with the butter knife of joy because I don't want to cut myself. What is this then? Yeah, it's the other Eastcoast. This is the GS10, I think they call this one. So, you know, it's just the latest style SG with the large guard. So I thought, I'll get this. I paid £169 I paid for this. Yeah. We're not going to get into the detail of these guitars today. That will come probably next week. We've got a lot to get through though, so stick around. I thought I'll get this and I can actually do a direct comparison to this. It's the Epiphone SG Standard. Oh, they do look similar, don't they? Side by side. To all of you that suggested that I didn't know what an SG looked like, you know, it's a bit of a ringer, isn't it? Really, I wasn't wrong. So you got me thinking now. I think brilliant. That would make a great film, wouldn't it? Eastcoast versus Epiphone. That cost £169. This was probably about $449, something like that. I probably paid for that. I've had that a while. Not that long. I didn't review that long ago, did I? Great guitar. Well, we haven't actually reviewed this one yet, but the Eastcoast last couple of weeks ago, great guitar. So there you go. And then what do you think happened? I thought, well, we could develop that idea a little bit more, couldn't we? So I went shopping again. Our friends at Gear for Music always got a bit of a deal on, haven't they? Cheapest in the UK. I couldn't resist. I had an excuse, so I bought this. Can you imagine how difficult this has been for me? I've had these guitars, some of them, for well over a week, and I haven't unboxed them yet. I imagine some of you probably guessed what it is already. It's not the same smell as when they come in the hard cases. It's always a moment, isn't it, when you... Let's get rid of the case. So here we go. I bought this SG Standard. 1,412 British pounds I paid for it. So about 100 quid cheaper than anywhere else in the UK. Thank you, Gear for Music. I mean, I bought it, obviously. But, you know, as I've said before, I buy it, well, you know, they sponsor the channel, but they don't, you know, have any influence over the products that I review or anything. I just buy stuff from them because they're cheaper. Happy to endorse them on that basis. Well, look, fuck me, I've been gassing for one of these for ages, the large guard version. These have a nice neck on these. Again, a full review coming, of course. Well, I had an excuse, didn't I? I had an excuse to get this. So now we've got that. We've got that. And we've got that. Hang on. What a lineup, eh? What a great idea for a film, a comparison. Knockoff, should we call it a knockoff? Knockoff versus Epiphone versus Gibson. At first glance, a lot of you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, would you? I mean, it is, the guard's the same shape. Different number of screws. Got an extra screw in the Eastcoast. Is that enough to avoid legals? I don't know. Knobs are the same, positions all the same. There you go. So I thought, well, there's a good little proper review, comparison, and what we can do is we can do all the weights and measures and pick up readings, and we can hear them all. But I didn't want to stop there because, again, there's this ethical, moral question, you know, is this a little bit cheeky? It made me think about it because it's been going on for so long. I mean, ever since I've been into guitars, people have been ripping off Gibson and Fender designs. So it made me think, and again, I'm not going to get into, you know, into the weeds with this, but it just made me think, well, I've just kind of always accepted it. Is that right? I don't know. Anyway, well, it did lead me on to the next thing. So I thought, well, I've got to just extend this idea a little bit further. So I went shopping. And coincidentally, I ended up shopping Gear for Music again. Spending more of the sponsorship money that they give me. A huge amount of it goes back to them. They're onto a good thing, aren't they? Again, they don't know I'm doing any of this stuff. It better be good, isn't it? Whee! What have we got here then? Oh, Brooklyn series. Any idea what that is? Any ideas? Well, you'll have an idea, surely. You probably realise what shape it's going to be. There's your cheap shit lead. That'll go in the pile of cheap shit leads over there. I should try and use one at one point. I mean, I know that they do work, obviously. Are you ready for this? Am I ready for this? Oh, well. So this is a little bit different. Let's get all this off so the dog can see the rabbit, as they say. So what we've got here is, I suppose, a more acceptable entry-level SG copy. If you have an issue with the idea of, you know, people stealing original designs from Gibson, how does this stack up? Because it's a different shape. It's clearly influenced by the SG. It's just called a double cut. What's this actually called? The Brooklyn Select. I paid £129 for this one. So let's put that alongside the East Coast. I mean, it's got the flavour, but it's different enough, isn't it, to certainly, you know, not warrant any legal challenges, and not to upset anyone that might feel strongly enough about people ripping off original Gibson design. It's also it's also a quirky little thing, isn't it? I mean, Gear for Music, own brand. I mean, it's got Gear for Music on the headstock. Oh, it's got nice tuners on this one. I didn't expect that. Oh, they look nice anyway. Again, this is a bolt-on neck, same as this. This is a bolt-on neck. And the GS61 that we reviewed last week, 2 weeks ago, bolt-on neck, sounded bloody great like that. I'm really looking forward to seeing how these sound. But I just wanted to bring this into the mix just to kind of expand the conversation, because, you know, if you're a beginner, well, you might prefer. If you're anyone, actually, you might actually even prefer the quirkiness of it's a slightly original version of an SG. Gear for Music are good at that, of reinventing. Reinventing, refreshing. What's the word? I'm going to go with reinventing, because they just evolves a little bit into something a little bit fresh and a little bit quirky. I'll show you another one of theirs. In fact, another two of theirs. This one, which you saw me review several weeks ago, is their take on the T-style. It's a little bit different. And then this one, which you haven't seen yet, this is called the Seattle, and it's their take on the Bullet, isn't it, or the Mustang, if you like. Bullet Mustang, yeah, the Bullet Mustang, yeah, or Duosonic, or the little offset. And again, it's just quirky enough and different enough to be interesting, and not treading on anyone's toes. So it would be interesting to hear your view on this whole thing, you know, copyright, theft, you know, whatever you want to call it. Because I'm actually not sure how I feel about it anymore. I always had accepted it. First Les Paul I ever had was in 1978, and it was an Aria Pro 2. It was a Japanese copy, a very, very good Japanese copy of a Gibson. So it's always been a thing. So anyway, we've got these 4 guitars, and of course what we're going to do is next week, not now, next week, we're going to compare them all. We're going to do all the important things, the measurements, the pickup readings, and we're going to plug them in and we're going to play them all. And I'm going to do one of those can you tell the difference things, I think, next week. Yeah, can you hear the difference things next week? So yeah, and then of course, so this was my big idea really. Just, you know, evolving that whole idea, you know, the whole idea that the GS61, remember this? The single guard version, this had been cancelled due to legal shenanigans. I'll be honest with you, I didn't actually ever think that was the case. But I'll be honest with you, what I actually thought was the case was that Lee Anderton, you know Lee Anderton from the YouTube, and Andertons. I thought maybe he'd had a think about it himself and thought, well, look, our range is a little bit too close for comfort, for his comfort. You know, being a Gibson dealer and everything and all that, you know, I thought maybe he just thought, do you know what, we're sailing too close to the sun here. It's the saying, isn't it? So I thought maybe he'd pulled them. And then something happened that, well, it completely fucked my whole theory and plan for this film, really. I'll show you what that is. I saw this, so I went shopping. Eastcoast, designed in the UK. Literally a week after I posted the cease and desist film, these popped up on Anderton's website, presumably Guitar as well. It's the GS61 in drab olive green or whatever they call it. So my theory was blown out of the water immediately. This olive green, cherry, pelham blue. I think that's it. I'm not sure there's another colour as well. I think £159 I paid for this. But not only that, there's been a change. It's got a set neck. I was flabbergasted, quite frankly. So clearly, well, I'd say the captain's got big balls, really. Not only has he not cancelled the range that were close to Gibson, he's made it even closer. I was going to show you them, but obviously this is a large guard version. This is based on the 61, the very first Gibson SG, which was, of course, called the Les Paul. And look at it. It's got a taut guard. It's olive green and set neck. Slightly different heel. Compared to the earlier GS61, which we've reviewed a couple of weeks ago and is the subject of this whole film. So there you go. Well, the good news is, I've now got a green one because I promised this to one of our regulars. This is going off in a couple of weeks' time to the States. So I've now got an olive green one. So I'm pretty chuffed about that, actually, because I really like this guitar. So the appearance of the new GS61 S for set neck, I suppose, it kind of left me with egg on my face and 4 new guitars. Oh, sorry, 3. Yeah, 3, because I already had 4, because I've got the olive one. So I bought these 3 to compare with the Epiphone, and we're going to do that next week. Okay, we'll get into that and we'll play them all and we'll see if we can hear the difference. But it will be interesting to see if we can hear any difference between set neck and bolt-on neck guitars, because that's another question. Is there any difference anyway? Obviously, going the whole hog and adding a set neck to an entry level, I mean, fuck me, what they can do these days. And again, not getting up. And I'm going to say this. You get a lot of comments saying that these cheap things, guitars like these are made in sweatshops with slave labour and the like. I don't subscribe to that theory at all. Companies like Andertons and Guitar and certainly Giphy Music, they're too big to 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 do anything. I mean, they've got whole departments that make sure that their products are sourced responsibly, I would say. I think the truth of the matter is that labour in China is a lot cheaper, and techniques have come on so far that nowadays they can make guitars that are as good as, or close to, the sort of stuff that's made in the States or elsewhere. But that doesn't get away from the fact that they're not the real thing. None of these are the real thing except for this one. This is the real deal. It was considerably more expensive than any of the others. But that is also the reason that this, and only this one, will be our next raffle prize. This gave me a great excuse to get one of these, muck around with it for a bit, review it, and then this will be our next raffle prize. So there you go. That kind of wraps this up nicely. There was a point to all of it. I hope. It's complicated, isn't it? It is complicated. But come back next week, and we're going to hear all of these. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Because they all look the same. We'll probably hear the olive one as well. We will, won't we? Of course we will. We'll play them all. Mainly be playing. I want to hear what all these sound like back to back. And we'll take some pickup readings and see what the neck measurements are like. And then we'll launch a raffle next week. So come back. Same time, same place. And I'll tell you how you can enter, and we'll do all that stuff. So there you go. I hope that was interesting. Yeah. See you next week. Cheers for watching. Ta-da. I think that'll do.